Side Studio. Focus Home Interactive. Games Workshop. Cabal Vision. And welcome to Green and Blue walkthroughs gameplay video of Blood Bowl 2! I am the Schwein, here we are looking at another fantasy sports game. It is also turn-based. I know you're saying, wait, you looked at another fantasy sports game? Yeah, I did. It was called, oh great. It was called, puts thing on bottom, puts thing on somewhere on screen, like right around here, about what it is called, but, yeah, last time I played that, it didn't go over too well. But I do play, I've been playing a couple sports games on the channel recently, 2 of them actually. And people seem to be liking it, so let's try something that I know people like, which is Warhammer. Okay, maybe I don't know if people like it. I know people like Warhammer 40k. But this is another Warhammer. This is actually another Warhammer. This is Blood Bowl is one of Games Workshop's spin-off series from Warhammer. Which probably I'm just lying in case you didn't know that already. Guess you didn't say it. Now, Blood Bowl, this is the sequel. This came out in September 22nd, 2015. I believe for like full price release, like $59. Yeah. But it's been going on sale recently for like $14, $11. I got it that cheap, and it's definitely worth that price. It's definitely worth full price, but we can get that low, it's definitely worth it too. Also, there's lots of DLCs. I should have had it up. I should have came up on my thing, but I was not really prepared. But anyway, so I'll go over the stuff that I'm prepared about. Now, like I said, Blood Bowl is a spin-off series of Warhammer. This time it's a spin-off series of Warhammer Fantasy. Now, Blood Bowl, the board game, I say board game instead of tabletop. I know people say Blood Bowl is a tabletop game, but to me, if you have a board, which Blood Bowl you need a board to play on, because you need spaces, which we'll go over all the rules once we get in game, because Blood Bowl 2 is actually very, very faithful to the game. So faithful in fact that the actual match times for Blood Bowl 2 are pretty much the same as match times for the actual board game itself. And all the rules are exactly the same, including the dice rolls, which people like and don't like. I don't mind it, because I'm a lucky individual. But we'll get to that later. So yeah, Blood Bowl originally came out in 1968, and was actually produced, what's the word I'm looking for? It was actually, they kept doing editions until, actually rule books and editions and stuff, miniatures, you get the idea, until 2001. So basically it lasted like 20 years. Which that may be the reason why you haven't heard of Blood Bowl before, is because Blood Bowl, if you've heard of Warhammer 40k, if you still play Warhammer 40k, even if you still play Warhammer Fantasy or Age of Sigmar, you still might not know of Blood Bowl, except now, because Blood Bowl, they just released a new rule set, a new official rule set with 5th edition. Now, of course, over the course of time to 2009, they were releasing supplementary stuff on the website called the Living Rulebook, but they didn't release any miniatures, I don't think. But anyway, so now this year, or last year I should say, 2016, they released a new set, like, I want to say November, December. It's on Wikipedia, but I know they did, from Mini Wargaming, which are only a subscription to Mini Wargaming's campaigns for both Blood Bowl, for both the old Blood Bowl and the new Blood Bowl, which Mini Wargaming is an actual tabletop gaming site, a YouTube channel, but mostly they have their own website. Which that's all I know. That's all my Blood Bowl experience, aside from watching someone play the campaign of this game. All right, so like I was saying, so Blood Bowl came out then, and it stopped. stop production because Game Workshop is like that. So now I should get into what is Blood Bowl. Now I went over the history of what is Blood Bowl. Now Blood Bowl is the I don't want to say it. How do I want to say this? Is the Warhammer Fantasy adaptation of football. Basically, it's a big spoof on football, American football. I mean, and I guess rugby, but less so. Which, by the way, Games Workshop is a British company. So yeah. But American football is fun to make fun of. Soccer is fun to add rules to. Football is just fun to make fun of. But anyway, so yeah, Blood Bowl. What Blood Bowl does is it takes the Warhammer Fantasy races and more or less the setting, but not really. It's basically the what if scenario. What if American football not only had fantasy races, orcs, goblins, elves, dwarves, Skaven, although that's only Warhammer. And what if we put them not only in a football match together in various different loadouts, like even it's orcs, the standard, orcs, dwarves, you get the idea. But not only that, let's make it ultra violent. As you can see, the two is blood streaks. Yeah, Blood Bowl, the goal of Blood Bowl for some teams is, each team is different. For orcs and dwarves, they want to play hyper aggressively. Since they're so slow, they can't really get touchdowns and they can't really pick up the ball, so they just bash the enemy team heads in till they either wound them till they're out of the game, or just knocked out for a turn or two, or even a half, or they knock them out permanently for a league. Because Blood Bowl is typically played in multiple game sets. Like it basically is played in leagues, where two players fight against each other, then another two players, and they go up a ladder. Blood Bowl 2 is all about that, actually. But anyway, so and upgrading your guys as you go as an RPG, much similar to Death Watch, not similar to Space Hulk, which, by the way, Space Hulk is another spin-off series like Blood Bowl, which you probably have heard of Space Hulk with the various games coming out these days. But anyway, so yeah. We'll back to what I'm talking about. So yeah, not only that, but basically it's okay to kill people. However, it's not okay to kick a guy on the ground. That's not okay. But if you kill him while you're tackling him or just punching him to tackle him, that's fine. That's not illegal. So yeah. And there's other teams like the Elves who are solely based around getting touchdowns and staying away from people that want to bash their heads in. And then there's the Humans, which can easily play both, which they're the balanced team. They're the team I like. Most people prefer Chaos or Orcs. Orcs because they're Orcs, Chaos because yes, people like bashing people's heads in, because that's what Chaos does, and Elves because Elves are the other extreme. No one plays Humans, and I'm determined to learn Humans. Which I already did a match. I did a match against Bretonnia, which are the feudal society, which are humans, but they have little weak units. They're peasants, and they have really strong units. They're knights. They're nobles. But they're humans, so I can fight them. I did well. Although I did make a team that did do this. As you can tell, like you may be wondering, wait a second, you actually played the game before recording? And yes, you're right, I did play the game before recording, because Blood Bowl, I did get Blood Bowl Chaos Edition with this as well. Which, by the way, you can get Blood Bowl Chaos Edition in this in for around $14 when it's on sale. Which I would suggest doing if you want to get them both, and you want to get them both. Actually, people either like Blood Bowl 2 or Chaos Edition. Chaos Edition is the original game, which came out in 2009, even though the game does not look it. The game looks like it came out in 2006, but it came out in 2009, oddly enough. But anyway, so yeah, I actually like them both. I like Blood Bowl 2 for the turn-based because it is pretty much the board game. But I like Blood Bowl 1 for the real-time strategy because you can switch it over to real-time strategy for Blood Bowl 1. Which I'll be showing in a separate video, but I want to do Blood Bowl 2 first because I wanted to actually tell you about the rules, because Blood Bowl Chaos Edition does not tell you anything. I mean, it gives you a little tutorial. I didn't read it because I don't need it. But when you're playing the real-time strategy component, you want to know Okay, it's spelled Blood Bowl, even though I'm looking at it. Oh, no, second. That's probably bad. Actually, Blood Bowl was $44 and so much cents around there. But yeah, you can also get the Chaos Edition, which I do recommend at the low price because it's definitely worth it. But anyway, so yeah, like I was saying, and Blood Bowl 2, Blood Bowl Chaos Edition and Legendary Edition, I like them. I like their because they have 32 teams without DLC, and there is no DLC because it's an older game. Blood Bowl 2, all the extra teams other than the bog standard teams that come with actual Blood Bowl, they are DLC. Reasonable price at $6.99 for them all, which is not terrible because you will be playing this team a lot and you can actually play against them. But anyway, so yeah, the reason why I like Blood Bowl 2 is for the turn-based strategy, because it is the board game. There's no two ways about it. It's actually one of the better board game adaptations I've ever seen and or played. And then Blood Bowl Chaos Edition is good for the real-time strategy or just having fun or just having lots of teams. By the way, so yeah, by the way, the other thing, yeah, I did play Blood Bowl 2 already. I wanted to have Blood Bowl 2 and Blood Bowl Chaos Edition be my just have fun games. Because I don't have many of those anymore where games I play off camera a lot. And I don't really, and I don't have to worry about being on camera ever. But I wanted to play them on camera because they're fun. So that's what I'm doing. And I just got them, by the way, so yeah. Alright, so let's enter. That's Bob. Who's the Olga? And that is Jim.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Who is, as you might probably guess, maybe a vampire. Maybe he is, not quite sure. And by the way, I'm using my strategy name, the legend, the hero, the legend, the myth, by the way, so yeah, this is Blood Bowl 2. Let me look at the options real quick, as always. Now when you first start up the game, they will talk and they will give you stuff, but as you can see, they're not doing it right now because I swear it options or things over here. My bad, I was confused with the gear. You can switch between the Blood Bowl 1 and Blood Bowl 2 control types and cameras in case you want. Control mouse and that. Oh yeah, I should mention that both Blood Bowl Chaos Edition and Blood Bowl 2 are on. Blood Bowl 2 is actually on PC, on Steam, Xbox and PlayStation. Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. And Blood Bowl Chaos Edition is only on 360, I believe, and PS Vita. Also, Blood Bowl 2 is on Mac too, which is interesting. But mouse and keyboard is what I like for this game.
At Massive Bifford Fan on Twerper has just sent you a rather intimate message, Bob. Would you like to take a look?
Huh? What does ogre on ogre action mean?
I wouldn't look at that, Bob. By the way, so yeah, Bob and Jim are the announcers, as you can probably tell. And by the way, some of these teams are not in Blood Bowl. I'll show the teams that are. These are the Amazons. They were in the original Blood Bowl. That is a halfling, which is the former fantasy version of a hobbit. He's in the original Blood Bowl, but not this one. Lizardman now got DLC. It could be many factions. It could be either the Egyptian slash the Egyptian slash pure skeleton faction. Forgetting the name of it. Oh, the Tomb Kings is what they're called. Is what they're called now, but their original nation is something else, which is what they're called in Blood Bowl. And Skaven, which are murderous rats, which are the size of humans. Dark Elves in the game. I think they would prefer to be called that. That is a Beastman. They are in chaos. They have their own faction in Warfare AK. Basically, they're everywhere in the world. or Warhammer Fantasy. I mean, they're everywhere in the world.
Cabal Vision HD comes with a range of new features. Please see your instruction guide for further details.
Don't be stupid, Jim. Nobody ever reads the instructions.
Wait, they're everywhere. By the way, the Warhammer Fantasy world, I'll explain this when I do a Warhammer Fantasy game, which I do have Total War Warhammer, which I'll be doing eventually. And that was another game that I got for fun / play with Sunny. So yeah, and then we got a Bretonnian Knight, a Dwarf, an Orc, a normal human, and this guy, a coach, which I like him because he has a mustache. And he's actually coach. And then the ball, which you can change, oddly enough. Which are out to, and graphic settings are very simple. This is a console game, although I think it's, I don't know if it's port or not. I'm pretty sure it could be a port from console. I don't think it is though. I think they were developed separately. I don't know much about either. I don't know much about the console version of Blood Bowl, but I'm thinking, yeah, the console version actually came out the same day, don't it? Or didn't it? Oh, so you like talking in the background. Alright, so there are 3 main modes, and you can play them online or offline. As you can see, you can have an account with Games Workshop. You don't need to though. You can play it completely offline if you want to. But as you can see, you got campaign story mode telling the story of the Reconleavers, which were the expert team in Blood Bowl Chaos Edition.
Did you know? Bathroom facilities have only been built in modern stadia since the last decade. Before that, the waste was, well, actually, no one knows where it went.
But yeah. So, basically tells the story of the Reconleavers in the break between Blood Bowl 1 and 2, in which no one was playing them, so they kind of just lost all their matches because no one was playing them. Yeah, Blood Bowl has always been very tongue-in-cheek. I'll explain more once we get in game to actually look at the sponsors and stuff. But yeah, I mean, like for instance, the god of RNG, or the god of the dice in Blood Bowl, is Nuffle. He, or she, or it, doesn't matter. I assume he's a he. Could not be. But Nuffle, which me and him are best friends, by the way. I'll give you a guess on what they got his name from. I'll give it's not something. It may have something to do with the professional American Football League, and give it a sec. Maybe possibly its name. NFL. Yes, Nuffle is how you might pronounce NFL. Like Unsk is how you might pronounce UNSC from Halo. Also, and then there's like Bloodweiser, which is a play on Budweiser, a beer, and stuff like that. But yeah, Blood Bowl is very satire rich. Alright, so there's the story mode where basically you play through basically you play through various matches.
Bored, Jim. You know I have the attention span of a constipated snotling. When are we gonna get to see a game?
In a sec, Bob. Anyway, so the campaign is the story mode, telling you the story of the Reconleavers coming back, and basically a tutorial, a very long tutorial. Basically, a tutorial strung over 4 normal matches in which they slowly unlock features, which is a really good way to make a tutorial as well as a campaign. But yeah. Anyway, you can also play with all the star players in every match if you do special conditions, which both the announcers may give you. And then finally, you can play in League, which is the main mode of Blood Bowl. Leagues are where you take your team. My team is the Deersville Powder Arms. I'll create them in a second, or I'll recreate them actually, because I kind of need to recreate the team. Actually, we'll just mess with the team, because I'm going to need some of my guys and redo it, but I'll show you what the team creation is like. But basically, create a team and then go through either online or solo. And by the way, you can bring an online team into solo, but you cannot bring a solo team online for various reasons, as it prevents a solo team from just making a gigantic, overpowered team and going online. But yeah, that's the main mode of Blood Bowl, both Blood Bowl 2 and the board game. So yeah. But I've only been playing friendly matches so far, which are just expedition matches, which are just scrimmage, where basically you pit some teams against some teams together. You pit a couple teams together, whether it's your a league team or any of the pre-made
This
teams.
circle of happy serenity. Aren't they a bunch of happy clappies, Jim?
I wouldn't like to use the word cult, Bob, as that has certain tax exemption implications.
But we can just pick a random team and just go. And go up against another team. You can even go up against your own team, against yourself. Which, let's get back to the powder arms. Which, by the way, Warhammer Fantasy, despite its name, although its name is accurate, Warhammer Fantasy does not take place in medieval or Rome or not ancient Asian times. It takes place in pre-revolution, I can't think of the name of it. But I'll give me a second. No revolution. I can't think of the name, but basically they're guns and stuff. So yeah, that's why I'm playing. That's why I started getting into Warhammer Fantasy with Total War Warhammer, because fantasies actually have guns, and yeah, they're not just your standard. They're not just your standard fantasy. Basically not like, let's say, World of Warcraft or Lord of the Rings. No, they are their own thing, which is nice. Which I never really like for. I don't really like fantasy for two reasons. One, there's no guns and there's no real technology. And two, it's pretty much all fantasies are based on Lord of the Rings for a good
How's
reason.
the missus, Bob?
Ex-Mrs. Jim. But that don't mean I misses her. She took everything in the divorce, including my family's sacred gut plate, the cow.
Which that ogres like wearing one piece of armor on their stomach because they believe that if they lose their stomach, they're dishonored. Anyway, so yeah, Warhammer Fantasy Renaissance. That's what I was looking for. Like pre-Renaissance, close to it. But yeah, Warhammer. LO Fantasy is based off of Lord of the Rings, because that was the first fantasy universe. So yeah. But anyway, so let's make a team. Also, you can play this online or local. And local, it means even a local human opponent. And whoa. There's no not yet. And there's me. Then local. We can go where you can just control either mouse or keyboard, basically. Hot seat, where basically just switch in between. Basically, when it's your turn, you go. When it's their turn, they go. Which is nice. Or we can also do online. Thank you, Steam. Alright. Actually, look at that before that's due. Alright, so, Coalition.
If the rules of this
games.
game are too complicated for you, well, you're an idiot, aren't you? What are you doing here? Well, I suppose you can just watch some matches here?
By the way, yeah, you can do community replays for your own up here. This is where I actually figure out the game, and then this is me also figuring out the game. But yeah, once I figure it out, I'm starting to figure out the game. I'm still very new to it, so yeah. Alright, so let's quickly make a little team. Humans, of course. Oh yeah, as you can see, these are the, I might as well read this. Yeah, this is just gonna be all set up, ain't it? My human strengths can adapt their style to their opponent's weaknesses. That's why I like them. Movement above average. Averaging running play. Or advantaging running play. Easy to play, big sense weakness. Hard to master because you can easily mess up your humans. I mean, like orcs. From what I've seen, orcs are hard to mess up. Actually, no, it's chaos that's hard to mess up. But orcs, if you just pound people in, you win. Eldar are really hard to play. Elves are very hard to play because elves kind of have the small problem of being extremely fragile, as in they have to get around their opponents all the time or else they lose. Humans can do both. If you have the right team, by the way. So strengths based on their skills rather than their stats. Cannot perform extremely well in one style play. Strengths based on their skills rather than stats means that, unlike an orc, which is just naturally strong, can really pummel a human or take damage.
How do I
or
look in
not
HD?
even take damage.
A whiter shade of pale.
Which, by the way, this is Cabal Vision HD. Before it was just Cabal Vision in the original Blood Bowl. By the way, so yeah. So yeah, basically humans, basically a baseline human versus baseline orc will win, obviously. And orc will have higher stats. A human that has played a couple leagues and has experienced because there's actually careers for your players in terms of lifespan. A more experienced human is going to be better off than an orc. Is going to have not going to have exactly higher stats, but is going to have higher stats than their baseline counterpart, where orcs just don't grow that much, I don't think. Cannot perform extremely well in one style play. Yeah, basically, if you want to just go pure brawl as humans, it's not going to work. If you want to go pure 50-footing, go around your teammates, it's not, or go around the enemy, it's not, or go around your opponents, it's not going to work either. By the way, so although human teams do not have the individual strengths or outstanding abilities available to other races, they do not suffer from any outstanding weaknesses either. This makes human teams extremely flexible, equally at home running the ball, passing it, or ignoring it, and pounding opposition into the turf instead. Yeah, also there's passing in this game. You can pass forward and back. Unlike American football, which you can only pass in one direction. I forgot which. I'm pretty sure in American football you can only pass forward. Yeah, you can only pass forward. And you got orcs. Which orcs are orcs? People like them. Skill level 2, humans were 1. Strength, strong and hard to injure. Most players can easily be replaced when they're injured.
I've got my McMurdy squig burger and my XXXL size cheese shake. Let's watch some Blood Bowl.
That is McDonald's, by the way. Blitzers have a base price and performance ratio weaknesses. No real agility player. It's difficult to beat up. Level up. Black Orcs average speed. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, I didn't know that. I wasn't. Well, that was just a guesstimate on my part, but I guess I was right. Which, that's typical for me. By the way, so, yeah, basically, I mean, in Blood Bowl Chaos Edition, I've noticed that you can easily outrun the orcs if you can get around them. Which, you can do this in Blood Bowl 2 in the board game. Basically, if a human can get around an orc, he is going to get a touchdown, because the orc will not be able to catch. That is why orcs have goblins. These guys. Black orcs are hard to identify for me. They're just bigger orcs, these guys, and normal orc. That is a, what, giant? We'll figure out once I actually look at the stars, but I forgot who he is. Alright, so orcs. Orcs have been playing Blood Bowl since the game was invented, and orc teams such as Gouged Eye and Severed Heads are amongst the best in the league. Orc teams are tough and hard-hitting, grinding down most opponents' line to create gaps for their excellent orc blitzers to exploit. Yeah. Dwarfs. Should be hard to play, actually. Strengths. Incredibly strong and enduring, made for defense and exhausting enemy. Can beat any opponent when it comes to a fight, because dwarfs are dwarfs. Weaknesses.
What part don't X3 sponsoring the sport when you were playing, Bob?
Bell polishing cream manufacturer? No. I got no idea where these guys came from.
Also, you can pick up sponsors, but that's more or less Blood Bowl, Chaos Edition, Legendary Edition, editions that came before it. Weaknesses. Swift as snails, that means they don't run anywhere. They don't walk anywhere, they tiptoe everywhere. Basic players are expensive, even if they're good. The Death Roller is not the most easy way to manage a big guy. As a Death Roller, because dwarves are also dwarves, so they got tech. Although dwarves in Warhammer are very, well, they're stubborn like little dwarves, but they're very innovative. Basically, if they want to, like, let's say, have a better steamroller or Death Roller, it would take them about, I'm going to say, like 400 years to actually develop it, get it through all the testing, and produce it. So yeah. Whereas the Empire, which is the complete opposite of Warhammer 40k, by the way. Which, by the way, Warhammer Fantasy is the complete opposite of Warhammer 40k. Just telling you that. I'll explain it more once I play a Warhammer Fantasy video. By the way, Dwarf. Dwarf seem to be the ideal level players, being a back tough and well armored, and having a stubborn knack for refusing to die. Most successful dwarf teams work to the principle that if they take out all the other team's potential scorers, they wear down the rest, and then there won't be anybody left to stop them from scoring winning touchdowns. Yeah. Which, by the way, that is the opposite of how I play. I play actually clean. I play like I'm playing soccer.
Bloodfighter have certainly got their hands deep into Blood Bowl, don't you think, Bob?
I know the Bloodwiser CEO, Jim. And it's not hands. It's claws.
Okay, that's time for going over time because this is all explanation. But yeah, like I was saying, yeah, I don't play to kill or wound. A lot of Blood Bowl people like to do that because that's, well, let's just face it, that's part of the game, that's part of the allure of Blood Bowl. However, I personally don't like doing it, so I don't do it. I never intentionally try to kill someone. Not like try to kill an opposing. No, I'll never try to get my guys to kill an opponent. But in Blood Bowl, unless of course you step on their neck and create a foul, you don't know for sure. But I'm fine with pushes and stuns, and that's it. Always Skaven. Skaven are interesting. They like to murder each other. A lot. More than orcs. Because orcs actually cooperate. Skaven don't like to. Strengths. A true running team that can score one-turn touchdowns. They can win the game even when outnumbered. An impressive big guy with good skill set. That is a rat ogre, which is actually not natural. Skaven also know how to innovate a little bit. They make red ogres. I never really understood how they make red ogres. I mean, I understand how they use warpstone, which is basically the powers of magic to powers of another plane of existence. Which
Did you know? It's rumored that Spike magazine editor Yuri Rinnell actually hates sport and would rather play with action figures instead. This has nothing to do with him bad-mouthing me in that last issue, of course.
By the way, so yeah. Alright, weaknesses. Most players are fragile now. In the tabletop of Warhammer Fantasy, you get lots of Skaven. Skaven are very weak, but there's lots of them. So yeah. Gutter runners are too indispensable. They can be outnumbered because of injuries. Basically, if you just pound them in, they'll stay down. But you just gotta catch them first. All right, they may not be all that strong, but they certainly aren't tough. But oh boy, but boy oh boy, are they skipping fast. Many times an opponent has left the starting blocks as a fast-moving Skaven players scamper through the gap in the line and run for a lightning fast touchdown. So yeah, basically don't let them ever have the ball and make sure you pound them in the face. High elves or elves, because the elves all think they're elves. It's the humans that think they're not all the elves. They think they're not all the elves, which is the complete opposite of Warhammer 40k, in which the Eldar are demons considered Eldar the same, but the Eldar consider themselves different. By the way, so yeah, skill level 4. Now high elves
I'm looking
are.
forward to the next match, Jim. Time for some Blood Bowl.
Now high elves are highly maneuverable and can dodge everything, I would say. By the way, skill level 4. How much was this Skaven? 3. Yeah. Elves are strong. Are elves strong? Or high elves strong? Or high elf strong? Strength. They are excellent at the passing game. They are more sturdy than they seem to be. Adaptive. Any players are potential stars. All right. Weaknesses. A few skills in the first matches. They're not the best when it comes to fighting. Cash can get tight with if you have to replace players, which in Blood Bowl, I haven't when I played like my friendly matches, I've been needing to replace players. So yeah, the Elven Kingdom sponsored high elves or high elf teams feature a dangerous passing game and some of the most arrogant players you will find. Rich beyond the dreams of most teams, the high elves often feature many princes and noble-born elves on the team, and what they can't beat, they buy. Yeah. Which the high elves and all the elves come from Uthron, which is the Atlantis of the Warhammer world. Which, by the way, I should mention this earlier. Warhammer takes place in an alternate Earth because they call Earth. They call their planet Earth, and the continents are similar to Earth, but let's say Florida's missing. There's a big mountain range in Eastern Europe, There's a big continent in the Atlantic where, well, Atlantis is there.
Talismans R Us are certainly making a splash on the used arcane item retail scene of late.
I'd say less of a splash and more of an incendiary fire. You just can't trust sorcerers.
Alright, so yeah, basically, one place that people think Atlantis is where the Orcs one is, and that's where the High Elves are. Dark Elves. Basically, these people, well, let's just say they like pleasure. They like really, really depraved pleasure, like murdering people and torturing people and mating with people against their will, and yeah. So yeah, Dark Elves. I don't know what to say about these guys. I've seen it a couple times in mini wargaming with the tabletop. But yeah, I mean they're basically high elves, just more aggressive. I think. All right, so skill level 4. Strength. They have many exotic and interesting potentials. Great defensive race because of their mobility and skills. Any player can save the game. Weaknesses: not well equipped to play against bashy teams. The most useful players are expensive and fragile. They don't have the skills to use a simply brutal playstyle. Meaning they drink a little water for like 20 minutes now. By the way, so yeah. So I mean, these pages are nice to know, even if you're not going to play the teams, is to know what the teams are.
Have you looked at Facetome recently, Bob? Did you know you have a fan club?
Have you looked at it, Jim? There's a petition to remove you from the air.
Alright, you can while they're talking. Alright, so evil beyond belief, skilled without doubt. The Dark Eldar are taken to the pitch to show the world their superiority. Dark Elf teams prefer a malevolent and spiteful running game overpassing their goodly cousins. Okay, they run, okay. Backed up by ruthless witch elves and dangerous assassins. Witch elves, I think assassin. The Dark Elf team has all the tools to power, though rather than around in a position line. Alright, so yeah, they like to go around you. So make sure they can't do that. By the way, Dark Elves, I mean, Dark Elves are still on Earth One in the southeast or southwest part, but they more or less moved to, well, Canada. Or to Warhammer, where Canada would be if Warhammer World was our world. Which, by the way, most of the humans have been found the Americas, where the Americas would be. But that's a place for a whole, for basically a race of lizards, caste society, which are like the Aztecs, Mayans, Native Americans guys. So yeah. Bretonia, the other human faction.
My Cabal Vision ball, Jim. This new High Destiny feed is crystal clear.
Oh, High Destiny, alright. But yeah, the Bretonians are the other human faction. Now, there's actually two other human factions. Kislev, which are the Russians, and Norse, which are Vikings. Which the Norse are DLC. Kislev has never been in Blood Bowl. Also, the list been in a DLC. Wood Elves are DLC that basically elves that are tied to a forest and are good, excellent archers and stuff like that. Nurgle, Necromantic, Undead, which are all DLC, which I'm not quite sure what those are, but I know what Nurgle is. Basically, disease and Necromantic. I think vampires, maybe? I don't know. Undead. Don't know either. I never looked those up or seen them. I know Nurgle from people just use it. Actually, I've seen Nurgle because of the ads for the DLC, but that's it. I know Norse because people play Norse. Lisbon, people play Lisbon. Wood Elves. I know from elsewhere. But yeah. Alright, Bretonians, skill level 3. Low-priced linemen, which are the peasants. This team is comfortable brawling because of the nobles. Blizzards can handle the game almost by themselves. They're knights. These are the blitzers. They're knights. These are the linemen. They are the peasants. Which the Bretonians have an extreme feudal society. in which it's not impossible for a peasant or a lowborn
Did
or
you know, back in 2479, the experiment to use balls made of granite was not a success.
But yeah, so basically, it's very hard for it's very hard for someone not a noble to become a noble in Victorian society. And also there's tons of taxes, and basically, imagine the worst feudal society, basically medieval Europe kingdom. I'm imagining the worst, and imagine the worst one you can think of, fiction or otherwise, historical otherwise. They won't come close to these guys. Victorians are pretty bad. By the way, weaknesses, but they're extensive and necessary. A bit frail when playing against bashy teams like orcs. They're not mean for gilding. Right. I like fighting these guys. They're like that. It's fair in the fair laboratory. Arrogant Praetorian nobles and the yeomen are questing for alternative grail. The brilliant wiser trophy. Convinced of their own skill, the young knights fill their teams of flymen Livy, drafted from many local and incompetent all-peasant teams. Okay. That's interesting. So basically the Olympics. And then chaos. I say they suck because I don't like them. I'm not saying they suck because they're actually a terrible team to play. They're a good team to play. People like playing chaos. I mean, to be honest, when people play Blood Bowl, at least from what I've seen, they're
I've
either
always
playing
been a fan of Orchida's. They sell a rather fetching line of t-shirts.
they either play chaos, orcs, or elves. That is it. Like, those are the main Blood Bowl factions that people like to play. I prefer humans because they're humans, and they're all-rounders. Praetorians aren't too bad. I might play them eventually, maybe. Other than they're extremely feudal and they're terrible like that. Norse, maybe. Blizzardmen, maybe. Elves, maybe, but I don't think so. Dwarves might be interesting, but I'm not very bashy. I prefer to just outplay my opponents as opposed to outpunt their heads in. But anyway, so yes, alright, so Chaos 2. Chaos come from the warp portals at the poles of the Warhammer world. Where basically they're just people just want to instant chaos and do whatever they want, pretty much. By the way, so chaos strengths made for brutality and murdering foes, easy access to mutation skills, above average strength even without skills. Weaknesses: few skills in the beginning, basic actions are more difficult, not the best when they have to play the ball. The Minotaur can refuse to accomplish crucial actions. Minotaurs are basically, Minotaurs one of the big guys. Big guys cannot be smart. When they're not smart, they don't like moving. So yeah. Anyway, so that's a Minotaur. That is a Beastman. Beastman. Chaos Warriors, which are humans in basically humans in armor that's made by
I'm looking forward to these next few matches, Bob.
It's made by the Warp, which is where chaos comes from. And magic in general. Alright, yes. Few skills in the beginning. Okay, we are that chaos teams are noted for this are not noted for the subtlety or originality of their team play. A simple drive up the center of the pitch, maiming or injuring as many opposing players as possible, is about the limit of their game plan. They rarely, if ever, worry about such minor considerations like picking up the ball or scoring touchdowns. Not while there are any players left alive on the opposing team anyway. Alright. Basically, they're the easier guys to play than dwarves. Alright, so we'll be making a human team. Won't be really making one, mind you. We'll just be showing you the process of making it. Then I'll just change my team into something I can use more. All these are the emblems, and then you can even get your different jerseys, which are the armor. Which is very good. All right. The jerseys are not bad. I prefer to actually use the level 2 standard human, actually. Actually, that's not bad gold. It's a little light on the brown, but it's not bad. It's not very dark, but it's not bad. Level 1.
Ah, the Guild of Bandits and Affiliated Trades.
I'm an honorary member, Jim.
Yes, I saw your infamous after-dinner speech at last year's GBAT Awards. The following riot was really quite wonderful.
New team name. Just test. I bet it was. I bet it's been used. Alright, so let's put Blood Bowl 2 GP Pest. This is not spelled with A. How about that? Old World, you pick your stadium. Niggeroth is where the Dark Elves like to be. Willow's Mountains, World's Edge Mountains is where the Dwarves like to be. Under Empire is where the Skaven like to be. Badlands like where the Orcs like to be. We're going Old World. We're going Old World. Same as Same as what? No. Basically, this allows you to fill out a team if you have no idea what you're doing. Great to use if you don't know what you're doing.
Fresh-faced rookie humans. Oh, so delicious. I almost feel sorry for them. Almost.
Alright, so as you can see, this stuff on the screen. Here are all the human players. You got linemen. Linemen are your basic guys. They do basically everything. You want to have them on, obviously, the scrimmage line. Or I think what the scrimmage line is anyway. Basically, in the middle of the field, going against enemy players and stop them from pushing up. Catchers are to catch the ball. Catching long passes. Yeah, basically, you can throw. So you can pass forward. I can pass the ball forward to get to these catchers. So I can move these guys up, and then they can catch and then get a home run or pass, or just hand the ball to a blitzer, which is guys over here. Blitzers are special. In order for them to attack, I believe they have to. For them to attack, they have to. They have to call their blitz, which I'll explain once we actually get in the game in the next video. Thrower, which throws the ball very well. And Ogre are your big guys. Basically, they're to deal with all the other guys' big guys, but they can be dumb sometimes and not really move when you tell them to. Cheerleaders, and these are extra stuff you can get, like team reroll. Rerolls are important in Blood Bowl if you get a bad roll. Like let's say an opposing, basically you're trying to make a play and the guy trips your guy because you had to dodge out of the way. You had to get out of his way, but your guy failed it. You can re-roll and then you will get untripped. Or if you want to go for, like let's say you want to go for a touchdown, you have to move that one extra.
Gambling are a great company to be affiliated with. Any problems you may have are surely coincidental.
Isn't that the company that you owe a great deal of bad gambling debts to?
That has nothing to do with my spontaneous endorsement.
Alright, anyway, so yeah, we're basically if you're trying to get a touchdown, you need to move it at one extra square, which I'll explain the rules in a second. I'll explain the rules once we get in game. Basically, any trips, because they do that. Blood Bowl players mess up every now and then. You can re-roll to make sure you get that touchdown. Apothecary allows you to re-roll wounds. Basically, if the guy gets killed, you can re-roll it for a better result. Factor does various things, which are helpful at the end of the game and the beginning of the game. Coach assistant. What your coach assistant do about stuff? Let's look at Lightman. By the way, so you can bam. Come on. And I can say get your waiting for answer from the server. I can also play this game. Going back and forth in the servers, which actually might be hot seat. I might have got that wrong. By the way, so yeah, that's how that works. Now let's back up all the way.
A good coach takes care of his team.
Yes, delete team. We don't need it. Alright, now we're doing my real team, the Dursville Powder Arms. Dursville because that's what I call my cities and my capital. Powder arms because I like guns. And powder arms, gunpowder, and an arm, a firearm. And as you can see, this is my team, and while this team works, it's not very good against orcs, which is who I'm going to play today. Or in the next video. So yeah, so what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to sell a Thor, which I don't need. I got 3 Thors because I didn't know what I was doing when I was I knew what I was doing, but I basically, I didn't have any experience. I had the knowledge of what to do. I didn't know about a team, but I knew how the game worked. I've seen people play the game already. I had an idea of what I was doing. I had an idea of what I was doing. So yeah, but I got 1 extra Thor than I actually need. So if you just play friendly matches, basically if you don't like your team, but basically when you make a team, make sure to play a friendly match first to see if you actually like your team before going to league, before starting a league. Because if you play friendly matches, you can resell your guys. You can sell your guys with a refund. Without it, they sell for less. I'm gonna sell a catcher, because I only need the 2.
The Bank of Altdorf. It's said there is no safer place for your money.
That's because they share the vault with the gold wizards, and nobody's gonna steal from them.
I'm gonna sell a Thor. Actually, Mr. One Eye. I actually like this guy. That was really interesting for Mr. One Eye to be our main Thor, but yeah. I just like that guy. Alright. So now I was thinking of getting an ogre to help. Now I was thinking about getting an ogre to help. Okay. How do I get an ogre? Oh, by player. There you go. Will give me an ogre. That should help against against bashy teams. Now the reason why I didn't want to get an ogre before is because I thought these are so dumb, they're not gonna be really useful that much. Same reason why I don't like plasma weapons and lower 40k, because they can blow up in your hands. But yeah, they're old. It's fine. How much are you to hire? It doesn't matter, we can beat you. I'll see about getting a reroll. Like, I don't really need a reroll all that much. For when I'm only playing friendly matches.
Are magic sponges really magical, Bob?
That's a trade secret, Jim.
Yeah, confirm. Oh, I guess you can get these after the game or before the game. I'm pretty sure these are for the game, but yeah. Or are they just giving the prices? Yeah, confirm. We need an ogre. You help a lot. Okay, that was weird. Oh yeah, it's basically just showing you the monies. Yeah, it's significant gold. Cheerleader, most Blood Bowl teams have a troop or 2 cheerleaders who both inspire the team's players and their fans. The more cheerleaders you have in a team, the more likely you'll win the cheering fans on the kickoff. Team reroll, I explained that, but I'm going to read it anyway. A coach may use a team reroll to reroll any dice roll made by the player on their own team. The result of a new roll must be accepted in place of the first, even if it is worse. A coach may not use more than 1 reroll per turn. Apothecary. Apothecary is a healer, wise in the ways of medicine and the healing arts, who looks after injured players in a Blood Bowl team, and so has the strenuous and full-time job.
You've got so many twerps coming through on Twerper, Bob.
I've known twerps all my life, Jim. I don't see why I gotta take notice of them now.
Alright, so full-time job. A apothecary can reroll 1 energy roll during a match. Fin Factor. Your team's Fin Factor represents how popular the team is and can have an important effect on the results you roll on the kickoff table. Coach assistant include offensive and defensive coordinators, special team coaches, special trainers for your legendary players, and numerous others. The more persistent coaches you have on your team, the more likely you win the brilliant coaching on a kickoff event. That's actually pretty good. I don't really need them, so I don't really need them since I'm so lucky. Just generally, so yeah. Alright, I think we're good. Okay, only history from
The
non-friendly
best way
matches.
to impress your shareholders, a large and full stadium.
Yep. Alright, you get the sponsors, which you can contract, which I can't do with this, which you can trail the contract to all these sponsors because I have to terminate. I like Spike Magazine. They're the least extreme of all the guys. Alright, so now we're slightly more expensive because of the ogres. Alright! So now we can actually play a match. Now we got things set up. I explained everything you need to explain other than the rules and the game itself, which we'll explain once we get in the match. Which we're going against Orks. Like I said, I've only went up against the Bretonnians before and won. And I actually play a real match against Bretonnians, so yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Alright, so that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching, or videos at this point. But thanks for watching. I do appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this or these videos, even though they were just explanation and menus. Important though, very important. But also, I also appreciate if you have if you leave a comment that motivates suggestions to me, suggestions for the series or anything I'll play. Blood Bowl 2 in general, different Steven's comments are real do with that. And also, I do have a Twitter channel updates as well as news that and videos that I've done, or news in general that I think I'm interested in, like Warhammer news, Warhammer 40k news. I might tweet out more about Warhammer Fantasy games, and maybe actually I might tweet out a lot of global stuff depending on depending on these videos do this in the match.
Well, you can't beat a McMurdy's Squid Burger. Always upgrade the meals to glutton size, though, or else you don't get enough fries.
A squig is a form of an orc, or at least in Warhammer 40k it is. I think it's a separate species in Warhammer Fantasy. Basically, it's their pets, their attack dogs, and their cows. So yeah, squigs are interesting. But anyway, so yeah. If you're interested in me playing your game mod or interested in doing collab with me, I do a business email which you contact me on, or you can use the two-prime message if you prefer. And finally, if you have questions about the sales system for the series or any other, please point comments below so help you with it. Alright, and also if you're interested in me playing your game, you can send me a key on Key Miller, where I do have an account there, and it's the same name as my channel name. And finally, if you have questions about the system for the series or any other, please point comments below so we can see it. Alright, before we go, I should mention that Blood Bowl, the tabletop, the board game, is actually considered one of the most. If you're going to play anything Games Workshop competitively, that's the one you play. You don't play Warhammer Fantasy. You don't play Age of Sigmar. You don't play Warhammer 40k. You play Blood Bowl because it's just so well balanced. And Blood Bowl 2 is no different. Alright, so yep, that'd be it for this video, and I guess more videos, and I guess
To
see
join
you
Skips Fitness Club, all you need to do is sign a 500-year contract. If you forfeit a payment, don't worry. They only sacrifice you to Sotek.
Skinks are the smaller lizardmen. And yep, that'd be it for this video, and I guess see you in a second.